Can we give this woman an Academy Award by now? She's been nominated like a Susan Lucci amount of times.
Seen it once, don't remember when. Think it's time to watch it again. Follow, subscribe, stay up to date. Episodes drop the last Friday. It's a Matt, forgot that. It's a Matt, forgot that. It's a Matt, forgot that podcast.
Welcome to the Matt Forgot That podcast, the place to recollect and reminisce. I'm your host, Matt Seroski, filmmaker, film fan. Each episode, I'm going to rewatch and review a movie or TV pilot that I've seen before but don't quite remember. It could be a blockbuster, critic's choice, or cult classic. To join in on the conversation, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Matt Seroski. You can subscribe to my YouTube page where I'll post videos and clips from the show. If you have any opinions on what I've reviewed, or want to share your own trip down memory lane, use the hashtag MattForgotThat on social. Before we start, the 98th Academy Awards will be taking place on Sunday, March 15th in the Dolby Theater at Ovation Hollywood. So if you're doing an office pool, or you're making some bets, I'm going to give you my predictions of some of the categories. Now, do not take my word on this. I haven't seen most of these films, so my opinion is based clearly on ignorance. Let's start with music original score. The nominees are from Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Sinners. I actually have seen Sinners. I really like the score, but I'm going to go with Frankenstein because I'm a big fan of Alexandre Desplat. I loved his score for The Tree of Life, which I know is not everyone's cup of tea. I get it. But that movie kind of changed my outlook of what movies could be. For music, original song, we have Dear Me from Diane Warren, Relentless, Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters, I Lied to You from Sinners, Sweet Dreams of Joy from Viva Verdi, and Train Dreams from Train Dreams. Now, I think Sinners is going to win this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if K-Pop Demon Hunters takes this one. But my heart goes out to Diane Warren. Can we give this woman an Academy Award by now? She's been nominated like a Susan Lucci amount of times. For Best Writing, Adapted Screenplay, the nominees are Begonia, Frankenstein, Hamnet, One Battle After Another, and Train Dreams. I'm going to go with Hamnet. I've heard a lot of good things about it. My coworkers have had some big praise for it, so that's where I'm leaning. For Best Writing, Original Screenplay, we've got Blue Moon, It Was Just an Accident, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value, and Sinners. I'm going to give this one to Sinners. I think this movie's going to win a lot of awards. Again, wouldn't be surprised if Marty Supreme takes it, but are we really going to give an Academy Award to a movie about ping pong? Alright, now my favorite category, Best Animated Feature Film. We've got Arco, Elio, K-Pop Demon Hunters, Little Emilie, or the characters of Rain. Again, I don't know if I just butchered that pronunciation. And Zootopia 2. I think this one has got to go to K-Pop Demon Hunters. There aren't a lot of pop culture moments, but this one transcended, so I gotta go with it. Next is Best Actress in a Supporting Role. We've got Elle Fanning for Sentimental Value, Inga Ipsdotter-Elias for Sentimental Value, Amy Madigan for Weapons, Wunmi Mosaku for Sinners, and Teyana Taylor for One Battle After Another. Amy Madigan has had a career resurgence with this movie, Weapons, and she was phenomenal in it. The movie as a whole, a little uneven for me, but she was great. So let's go with that one. Best Actor in a Supporting Role, Benicio del Toro for One Battle After Another, Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein, Delroy Lindo for Sinners, Sean Penn, One Battle After Another, and Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. What is this sentimental value? I've said it 3 times in the last minute, and I know nothing about it. I mean, I think I gotta go with Sinners, Delroy Lindo, but right now, Hollywood is really smitten with Jacob Elordi, so I wouldn't be surprised if he gets it. Best Actress in a Leading Role, we've got Jessie Buckley, Hamnet, Rose Byrne, If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue, Emma Stone for Begonia, and Renata Reinsve for Sentimental Value, that movie. Whenever an actress shaves their head, the Academy really enjoys that. Wow, you really went the extra mile for that role. So Emma Stone might win her third Academy Award. I mean, that puts her at Streep level. Now on to Best Actor in a Leading Role. Timothée Chalamet for Marty Supreme, Leonardo DiCaprio, One Battle After Another, Ethan Hawke, Blue Moon, Michael B. Jordan, Sinners, and Wagner Moura for The Secret Agent. Now, I have two lines of thought here. At some point, they have to give Timothée Chalamet. He's had some really strong performances in the past, but I'm not sure if this is his time. I think it's going to go to Michael B. Jordan. He played twins, two distinct characters. That might give him the edge. Now on to directing. Ryan Coogler, Sinners. I don't know if there is more of a lock than this one, and I would be Marty supremely surprised if he doesn't get it. And finally, Best Picture. We got Begonia, F1, Frankenstein, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, One Battle After Another, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Sinners, and Train Dreams. In my opinion, this is probably another lock, but it's got to be Sinners. Out of all these movies, that one I think is going to have a lasting effect. And not only that, it was really good. So those are my predictions. What are your thoughts? Hit me up on social media using the hashtag #MattForgotThat. On to the main attraction. Each review will end with a ranking out of 5 stars. 1 star is skip it, 2 stars watch at your own risk, 3 stars standard fare, 4 stars worth checking out, and 5 stars must see. Now, if I give a title 5 stars, it doesn't mean I'm comparing it to Casablanca, Jaws, or Seinfeld. I rank titles based on other movies or TV series in that genre and at that time period. In this episode of the podcast, I'm rewatching and reviewing Used Cars from 1980. It was released on my birthday, July 11th. It was directed by Robert Zemeckis, who helmed adventure comedy Romancing the Stone, live-action animation hybrid Who Framed Roger Rabbit, dark comedy Death Becomes Her, science fiction drama Contact, and creepy Christmas flick The Polar Express. He won an Oscar for Best Director of Forrest Gump. The screenplay was written by the director and Bob Gale, who scribed historical comedy I Want to Hold Your Hand, war comedy 1941, action thriller Trespass, and horror fantasy Bordello of Blood. The pair were nominated for Best Writing, screenplay written directly for the screen for Back to the Future. It stars Kurt Russell as Rudy Russo, best known for his roles as Snake Plissken in Escape from New York, McReady in The Thing, Jack Burton in Big Trouble in Little China, Stephen McCaffrey in Backdraft, Wyatt Earp in Tombstone, and the Commander in Sky High. If you're interested, I did a career retrospective in Season 3, Episode 15 of the Matt Watch That podcast. Jack Warden portrays the Fuchs brothers. In his youth, he was a welterweight boxer under the name of Johnny Costello. He enlisted in the United States Navy in 1938 and was stationed in China with the Yangtze Patrol. He briefly joined the United States Merchant Marines before moving to the United States Army. After retiring from active duty, he moved to New York and studied acting with assistance from the GI Bill. His first role was an uncredited party guest in Sunset Boulevard. He would appear in 6 episodes of Mr. Peepers over 3 seasons, but his breakthrough was as Corporal Buckley in From Here to Eternity, and was a standout as juror number 7 in 12 Angry Men. A celebrated and instantly recognizable character actor, he would appear in All the President's Men, The Presidio, Problem Child, While You Were Sleeping, and Bulworth. My favorite role of his would be as the news editor Mike Tarkanian in The Great Muppet Caper. He was nominated for 2 Best Actor in a Supporting Role Academy Awards in Shampoo and Heaven Can Wait. He won a Primetime Emmy Award for Outstanding Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role in Drama for Brian's Song. Used Cars also features Garrett Graham, Frank McRae, Deborah Harmon, Joe Flattery, Al Lewis, and Michael McKean. So let's jump into it. This is what I remember. The outfit, very iconic. How can you forget a brown and yellow plaid jacket? And there was actually another movie where Kurt Russell dressed up as his character in used cars, but I don't remember which one it was. Alphonse, look that up for me. But that's all I really remember about it, so this is almost like a fresh viewing. Now I'm heading off to rewatch the movie. This is what I forgot. Rudy Russo is a fast-talking, slick salesman and the best employee at struggling New Deal used cars. He turns back the mileage, uses chewing gum to hold parts in place, and is loyal to owner Luke Fuchs. He has ambitions to run for state senate in Arizona and accumulated $50,000 in funds by taking out a second mortgage, cashing in his insurance policies, and selling his boat. But he needs an additional $10,000 to meet the requirements of the party chairman, who's looking for a fresh face, someone with style and flair, with no axes to grind. Luke agrees to loan him the money, and they'll go to the bank in the morning, but on the condition that, when he becomes a hotshot politician, Rudy doesn't allow the business to be sold to his brother. Roy Fuchs owns the lot across the street, Auto Emporium Pre-Owned Automobiles, a more successful used car dealership. He's been contributing to the mayor's slush fund to prevent a freeway exit from going through his property. He's also looking to collect on a life insurance policy on Luke, who has a heart condition, and sends his mechanic, Mickey, to take his brother on a joyride which leads to a stroke and death. Without the funds to run for state senate, Rudy has no choice but to turn New Deal around using disruptive ideas to promote the business. Here's a quote without context. Margaret, let's take a look under the hood, shall we? Used Cars has its moments. It's an old-school comedy. There's a bit of slapstick, pratfalls, and nudity used for laughs. It's not as funny as contemporaries Caddyshack, Stir Crazy, 9 to 5, and Airplane. The plot reminds me a bit of Dodgeball, where there are two competing businesses with one megalomaniac trying to be the only game in town, and the other just trying to get by. It's a formula that's worked in movies for decades, and is successful here due to the two leads. Kurt Russell always turns in a strong performance, and this character seemed to play into his comedic wheelhouse. Charming, sly, gregarious. Jack Warden played both brothers, and had distinct appearances for them. Luke wore a sweater, had a disheveled appearance. I believe they used aging makeup to give him an older look. Whereas Roy, he donned a suit and was clean-shaven, much more alert. There was a romantic subplot that didn't add much to the characters, but it was necessary for the story to move forward in the script. Now for a little trivial trivia. This is the first out of two movies which Kurt Russell has starred with another character named Fuchs. The other is horror classic The Thing. Used Cars was produced by Steven Spielberg, John Milius, John G. Wilson, and Bob Gale. It was distributed by Columbia Pictures, who greenlit the script because studio president, Frank Price, used to sell cars as a young man. It was filmed in Arizona at Sun Devil Stadium and Arizona State University in Tempe, Camelback Mountain and Maricopa County Old Courthouse in Phoenix, and Berg Ford and Dorner Chrysler Plymouth dealerships in Mesa. It was shot in 29 days from October to November 1979. The cinematography was captured by Donald M. Morgan, whose filmography includes Western, Santee, Stephen King horror, Christine, science fiction romance, Starman, and crime thriller, Seven. He's won 5 Primetime Emmy Awards in the Outstanding Achievement in Cinematography in Movies of the Week and Miniseries categories. It was edited by Michael Kahn, who worked on crime drama Truck Turner, action-adventure Raiders of the Lost Ark, thriller Fatal Attraction, science fiction dinosaur flick Jurassic Park, and natural disaster Twister. He's won 3 Academy Awards for Best Achievement in Film Editing for Schindler's List, Saving Private Ryan, and Lincoln. The score was composed by Patrick Williams, who wrote the music for comedy Best Defense, war dramas Some Kind of Hero and Swing Shift, comedy musical Cry Baby, and episodes of Spinoff Lou Grant. He was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Music, Original Song Score and its adaptation, or Best Adaptation Score for Breaking Away. A score was composed by Ernest Gold, but rejected for the final film. A few of his contributions remain, including his arrangement of Stars and Stripes Forever. The soundtrack featured the song Used Cars, with music by Patrick Williams and lyrics by Norman Gimbel. It was performed by Bobby Bare, Grammy Award-winning country singer, best known for the singles Detroit City, 4 Strong Winds, and Talk Me Some Sense. The runtime is 1 hour 53 minutes. It had a budget of $8 million and grossed a little over $12 million at the box office. It's since developed a cult following. On the Ski Index, I give it 3 out of 5 stars. If you've seen Used Cars and have opinions on the movie, let me know what you think using the hashtag #MattForgotThat. Moving right along, each episode, I'm going to post throwback clips that I think people should watch. It could be movie trailers, music videos, interviews, or something completely random. Search for my YouTube page and there'll be a playlist called Matt Forgot That Playback. Creepy crawlers were a popular toy line that allowed children to create their own rubbery, insect-like creatures by pouring colored plastigoop into molds shaped like bugs, then heating it to set and form the creatures. It was first introduced by Mattel in 1964 as the Thing Maker, but it was the revival by Toymax in 1992 under the Creepy Crawlers moniker that made it famous. The brand also expanded onto the small screen with the Creepy Crawlers animated series in 1994. It followed Chris Carter, not the basketball player, or the creator of X-Files, his friends and his creature creations made from a device called the Magic Maker, who battle against Professor Guggengrime, who wants to create monsters for his own nefarious purposes. The show combined humor, action, and fantasy, with the creepy crawlers being used in a wide variety of ways, from helping the characters solve problems to fighting evil villains. It has a lighthearted tone, appealing mainly to children, with elements of teamwork, friendship, and creativity. The series lasted for 2 seasons, 23 episodes, and aired in syndication. In May 2018, it was announced that a film based on creepy crawlers was in development. Although it was eventually discontinued, Creepy Crawlers remains an iconic and nostalgic toy line, often remembered for its creativity and the thrill of crafting your own creepy creations. So I've selected a couple of clips of Creepy Crawlers commercials. They're all available in the Matt Forgot That Playback playlist on YouTube. Check it out. Now it's time for the recommendation. Yes, that's the word recommendation with Matt in the middle. I'm going to end each podcast with my own recommendation of a movie or TV series. Today I'm talking about Huff. It tells the story of Dr. Craig Huffstad, a successful but emotionally conflicted psychiatrist living in Los Angeles, whose life unravels after the suicide of one of his patients, which deeply affects him and sparks a personal and professional crisis. As the series progresses, Huff struggles to cope with the weight of his profession, his own mental health, and his relationships. He's torn between the ethical duty to help others and his inability to manage his own life. Huff's personal world is filled with complex characters, including his dysfunctional family, his wife Beth, his best friend Russell Tapper, and his emotionally troubled mother Isabel. It stars Hank Azaria, Paget Brewster, Oliver Platt, Anton Yelchin, Andy Como, and Blythe Danner, who won 2 Primetime Emmy Awards for her portrayal of Izzy. It also features Faith Prince, Swoosie Kurtz, Annie Potts, Lara Flynn Boyle, Tom Skerritt, Angelica Houston, and Sharon Stone. It was created by Bob Lowry, who wrote episodes of Evening Shade, Profiler, Any Day Now, and developed the series Viva Laughlin. The show balances humor with more somber and introspective moments as Huff tries to make sense of his role as a therapist, confront his personal demons, and navigate his increasingly chaotic life. Despite being critically acclaimed for its performances and its unique blend of dark humor and drama, Huff was cancelled, leaving some storylines unresolved. I was a big fan of Showtime back in the day, but this show happened to elude me, and I know I've mentioned this before, but I work in television, and around award season, all the networks and studios would send out screeners. And after all the people in the guild watched it, they'd put it out for anyone to grab and watch. And I saw the Huff DVD set, and I was like, what is this? I watch Showtime all the time, and I hadn't heard of it. So I gave it a shot and just love this series. It is funny and quirky, but it's also not a great time. There is a lot of drama, and it does go a bit dark. Huff was on for 2 seasons, 26 episodes, from 2004 to 2006. That's all for this edition of Matt Forgot That. Thanks for listening to me reminisce. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Matt Seroski. You can subscribe to my YouTube page where I'll post videos and clips from the show. If you have any opinions on what I've reviewed, or want to share your own trip down memory lane, use the hashtag MattForgotThat on social. Head over to mattseroski.com for all the latest news and updates, and come back next time for the rewatch and review. In the Dolby Theater at Ovation Hollywood. Ovation? What is that? How can you forget? Whoa. Long Island came out of me. It stars Kurt Russell as Rudy Russo, best known for his roles as Snake Plissken in Empire Strikes... Nope, not that.